Hello all, welcome back to Car Trouble. Now people keep asking me for an update on my $250,000 Porsche Boxster. How much does it cost? What's gone wrong with it? Was it worth buying after all? Blah-de-blah-de-blah. So this video is going to cover exactly that. It's very exciting. Now, quite a while ago, I uploaded a video on my 2007 Porsche Boxster with nearly $250,000 up it. If you haven't seen that video, please take a look at it. It's bloody brilliant, honestly. I'll put a link in the description below and a box thing at the end so you can click on it. Now, in all honesty, I only bought this car because nobody else was stupid enough to buy a galactic mile Porsche Boxster. I guess people thought you may as well just set fire to the money instead. I thought it'd be a sort of basket case for YouTube where I could just go through it and fix all the problems and make loads of lovely, useful content. All centred around being the only dickhead that would buy a Porsche Boxster with that stupid amount of miles on it. The only problem was, there was nothing wrong with it at the time. Nothing. After a couple of weeks, a small plastic coolant joint failed, which was £20, but apart from that, nothing. So the video about a knackered basket case Porsche Boxster turned out to be a video about how durable Porsches are and how you shouldn't be scared of high mileage. As long as you go for the right engines, and most importantly, ones that have been well maintained, you'll miss the big ticket faults. Compared to issues with other cars, they're still not that scary. I think the takeaway here, and I hate to give useful factual advice on this channel, is that high mileage use is better than lack of use. Porsches don't like not being used. The seals dry out and things stop working. A bit like being an old person, really. I did wash it yesterday for filming, but it's filthy again. I usually like to drive around in it all filthy, like David Duchovny in Californication, because he looks so cool that he just doesn't care about his Porsche. But the problem is I don't look like David Duchovny, so I just look like a twat in a dirty old Porsche. A huge percentage of Porsches are used very infrequently, and this causes real problems with them, and they get a bad reputation, which is a bit unfair, really. Anyway, since I uploaded that video, loads of people have been asking for an update, so here goes. A quick run through of all the issues, the likes and dislikes of running this Boxster for the last couple of years. Now, I'll be honest, I have had some issues, albeit most of them are human error, so that means it's my error, so not the car's fault at all. First up, the battery died. Now, I have no idea how old the old battery was, so I didn't really mind that. It's a wear and tear item. And it gives you a bit of peace of mind, so that was about £90. Next up, the convertible roof broke. Yeah, sounds expensive. Now, the roofs on these are generally very sturdy, but once again, this was my fault. One sunny day, I was unclipping the roof, and I didn't quite unlatch it properly, and that hook caught. And as I sent the roof back, there was this enormous bang from the back, which sounded really expensive, when the roof was stuck halfway. Luckily, there's a backup method to close the roof, if the motor fails, or if you're a dumbass like me. Now, the folks at Porsche are actually all right. They understand human error, and they designed a kind of sacrificial part that breaks before you bend all the intricate arms and hinges and cause loads of expensive damage in the roof. This little plastic elbow broke on both sides. Now, unfortunately, Porsche don't sell the little plastic parts separately, because otherwise, well, they wouldn't make any money out of you. They only sell the complete arm. Now, it's not life-changing. For 2 complete arms, I think it's about £230. But we can do better than that, can't we? Because although it's not a life-changing amount of money, it still feels like you're being mugged when you only really need 2 little pieces of plastic. Then I found a guy in the good old USA of America who shared my view that these parts were a bit of a rip-off, but he wasn't going to take it lying down. No sirree, Bob, he was not. He found a company in Germany that supplies Porsche with the parts. And he did a little side deal with them to supply them with just the plastic bit on the end. Not the whole arm, just a little plastic piece on the end, and he now sells them very reasonably online. Annoyingly, the one I bought travelled from Germany across the Atlantic to the US, where it was resold back to me, and it travelled back across the Atlantic to the UK. So the carbon footprint is pretty crap. But all in with shipping, they only cost me £38, which is a lot better than the £230 that the Porsche main dealer wanted. And I bought him a stupid private plate. Now, I normally hate private plates, but I just thought, it doesn't really look its age or mileage. And I thought, well, why not just cover up the age and pretend like everybody else does? And the wife actually said to me, well, what does it mean? These plates are supposed to mean something. And I said the first thing that came into my head, which is, it's the noise you make when you trap your gentleman's area in your zip. Yuck! Yuck! Next up is the driver's side electric window switch. Now, this is definitely a Porsche design fault, and it's quite a common problem on these cars. If it's raining, you have the window slightly open for any reason, or you use the whip mop juice to clean the windows, the water drips directly onto the switch, eventually knackering it. Now, it must be a common fault because these parts are on back order with Porsche for about 12 months. And so on eBay, used ones were changing hands for more than the new price at £120. So it shows that demand is high. Now, eventually I found one in Lithuania for £50 shipped. Now, the problem is, that switch should have been on a left-hand drive car, which meant that this door would have been the passenger door, only a single switch. But anyway, I kissed goodbye to my £50 and lo and behold, it turned up and there it is, and it's working! What else went wrong with this car? Oh yeah, one day I was driving home and there was this loud clattering noise coming from the back. And I took it into the garage fully expecting some expensive engine rebuild or something. And it turned out to be one of the handbrake shoes had disintegrated and was clattering round the axle. It wasn't a bank breaking repair. I think it turned out to be a couple of £100. Now my biggest problem with this car, and it's a Porsche design flaw, is this key. And that sounds really petty because it's just a key. But this bloody thing is responsible for the next 4 issues that I've had. And it could easily have been avoided if the design guys at Porsche hadn't had a couple of beers at lunchtime that day. The problem is the buttons are curved and exposed and really sensitive. Now I might be a little bit responsible because of my insistence on carrying the key around in my trouser pocket all day, but that's what blokes do, and Porsche should know that. When you sit down with this key in your pocket, the windows go down, the boot opens, and the front boot frunk thing opens as well. And when it rains, everything gets completely soaked. And I've had to dry the interior and the boot out a few times. But the worst is the frunky thing because it fills up with water and I've had to take it completely apart to dry it out. Then there's the security risk because it opens the doors. And one night, the local yobs decided to nick my sunglasses and leave a little tear in the seat for me. Bastards. One windy day, the boot had popped and the wind caught it and sent it up so hard it bent the hinges. And I had to have it straightened in a body shop. Yeah, thanks, Porsche. So, Porsche, can we please have a key that you can carry around in your trouser pocket without it opening the doors and the windows and the boot and the frunky thing? Pretty please, with sugar on top. Now, the last issue is rust. Now, these don't suffer from rust too badly, like, say, an MX-5. But like other high-mileage boxers, you get rust on these facing wheel arches here. Now, you could argue that with 250,000 miles up it, this is actually holding up quite well. But you would have thought that having painted metal right in the path of road debris is a bit of a design flaw, no? Just me? No, I'm going to rust treat it and paint it and hope it holds it back for a couple more years. See if we can't keep the old girl on the road a bit longer. Anyway, that's it for now. If anything else happens, I'll let you know. If you do like these update videos, let me know in the comments below and I'll keep them coming on this and the other cars as well. So if you like the inane drivel we're providing you with on this channel and you want to see more of it, please help support the channel. I know everybody asked this, but if you could click on the subscribe button below, it is free and it helps us more than you know. Okay, see you next time. Bye then.